second positions? Do you need them in seconds? Go to 2, please, so we can see where you are.
Where is our 2 is somewhere over here.
Okay. Frame them up nice. Okay, great. My gosh, that hair is like electric on fire with that background. You look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool. Okay, here we go. First positions. All right, first moments, first positions. Sound speed?
Speed.
Roll cameras.
Rolling.
Mark it.
Scene 1, take 1.
Action.
It's cold out here. You should put on a sweater.
Do I need one?
What are you doing?
Thinking.
About what?
I don't know. I was thinking about the pigeon. You know the one that used to take off from the top of the garage when you pull out of the station wagon? That was the closest thing we ever had to having a pet. Remember when Buck tried to convince you to get the dog the size of a teacup?
How come you didn't tell me you quit the swim team?
I didn't think it mattered.
What do you mean you didn't think it mattered? Of course it matters. Where have you been every night?
Library mostly?
It's important to try and hurt me, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you have that backwards.
Really? And how do I hurt you? Do I make you look like a fool in front of a friend? Poor Beth, she has no idea what her son is up to. He lies to her and she believes every word of it.
I never lied.
You lied. Every time you came into that house, you lied. You know, if it's starting all over again, the lying, the disappearing for hours, the covering up, I'm not going to stand for it. I can't. I can't stand it. I really can't.
Then don't. Go to Europe, why don't you? The only reason you care, the only reason you give a crap is because someone else knew before you. Why should you care if I was strung up by the balls in here?
You know, maybe that's how they sit around the hospital and talk. But we're not at the hospital, young man.
You wouldn't know about the hospital. You never came to see me at the hospital.
I came to the hospital, but I had the flu. You know that, Conrad.
Oh, if Buck had been in the hospital, you would have been in that hospital. If Buck had been in the hospital, you would have had the flu.
Your brother never would have been in the hospital because he was strong.
Well, guess what? He's dead!
I know.
I'm sorry. Please don't be mad.
I'm not mad.
I don't know what happened.
What do you think of this doctor? Dr. Berger, right?
Forget about Dr. Berger, it's not his fault.
Cut.
Cut.
Okay. Great, nice. We got that. Very good. We got a good master shot. We're going to start getting a little bit closer on you guys. We got to pick up the tail end of this. Working backwards, you dropped out of the scene before I yelled cut. Okay? You had your last line, you held your moment, and then you gave up. Don't. You have to hold it. I might need 20 seconds of footage for some effects I'm doing or something. You got to hold it until you hear cut. Okay? All right. No, I'm sorry. Just that's the adjustment. We're going to go back. We're picking it up. Is the line sit around hospital, or is it sit around the hospital?
Maybe they sit around the hospital all day.
What is the line, please? Do you know it?
I'm gonna-
Sit around the hospital?
Maybe this is how they sit around and talk at
Okay,
the hospital.
that's right.
Okay.
We need that. This is how they sit around and talk at the
That, we need that line. We're going to
Okay.
pick it up from, what's the line right before that, please?
It's a long monologue. Why should you care if I was hung up by the balls in there?
Great. We're going to take it from your monologue.
Okay.
Okay? All right. You guys are doing well. You got to get that line. Sitting around the hospital. Got it? Now, I'm going to give you an advanced note. I know you're dealing with stuff, but you got to make day here. We got to get this. I need the deadline to be come out of nowhere, not premeditated. Do you know what that means? Okay, it needs to come out of nowhere, but also be a little bit more compressed at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you understand what I mean by the compression?
Not as.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Let's see what you do. Okay, good. Let's see what you do with that. Didn't think it mattered? Who has that line?
I did.
Me.
Didn't think it,
Didn't think it mattered.
Yeah. Where is that, earlier in the scene?
Yeah.
That's a note for later, don't worry. Let's pick this up for here. Do you know your line?
From, what do you
It's
mean?
off of his monologue.
He says he didn't think it mattered. What do you mean?
No, we're not, didn't think it mattered. Forget that.
It's
Why
What's,
should I care?
what is it? The hospital
Why
line
sh- why
after the
should you-
monologue?
Go after the monologue?
Then
Maybe
don't
this is how
go
they
to
sit
Europe, why
around and
don't you?
talk at the
Maybe that's
hospital.
gonna be your line. You're
Okay.
gonna pick it up from the monologue. Can you lead us first into the monologue?
Do you have the whole monologue or
Let me
the
see
last?
it. Okay. Oh, yes. There's another line that was dropped. You wouldn't have had, the line is, you wouldn't have had the flu. What is that line, please? You wouldn't have been, had the flu if you had the hospital.
If you'd been in the if Buck had been in the hospital, you'd have had the flu. If Buck had been in the
If
hospital.
Buck had been in the hospital, you wouldn't have had the flu if Buck had been in the hospital. That was a little bit, that line went a
Yeah.
little south on you.
Did.
You wouldn't have had the flu if Buck were in the hospital. You guys got that? Okay, so we're gonna pick this up from, I don't give a crap about it because someone else knew about it first. I knew where you, here's the line. I know why you never came to see me at the hospital. That's your first line. That's where we're picking it up right now. I know why you never came to see me at the hospital. You were going to Spain and to Portugal. Why should I care?
Oh my gosh, I totally messed that up.
Yeah. Okay? And then we need, maybe this is how they sit around and talk in the hospital. Okay?
Can I
Got
do
it?
that one more time, actually, just so I can not mess that up as horribly.
And if they're really off book, script has to tell us.
Okay. Like interrupt and say?
No. Just when we're in, you say they didn't get this line, they didn't get this line.
Okay.
That's just how we gotta go, because we're shooting this now. We can't not have these lines. That's why there's a script supervisor. Yeah, but you don't really need to know that, but for here, you do. Okay. Okay. Here we go, guys. Actors are ready, last looks. Okay? Bring in the fog. Thanks very much. Sound speed.
Speeding.
Roll cameras.
Rolling.
And mark it.
Scene one, take two.
And we're gonna go a little tighter on these guys. You don't have as much wiggle room, guys. And when you move across the floor, Connor, just move with grace and resistance because the cameras are following you.
Okay.
Close. Here we go, guys. Cameras are rolling and action.
Then don't. Go to England or oh shoot, I totally messed up.
Okay, reset.
Ah, what's the line?
Fire in the line.
What's the exact line?
Don't then go to Europe. Why don't
Europe.
you?
I knew that was Europe.
Okay, settle. Cameras are rolling.
Rolling.
And action.
Then don't. Go to Europe, why don't you? The only reason you care, the only reason you give a crap is because someone else knew before you. I know why you never came to see me at the hospital. You were going to Spain and Portugal. Why should you care if I was strung up by the balls in there?
You know, maybe that's how they sit around the hospital and talk, but you're not at the hospital, young man.
You wouldn't know about the hospital. You never came to see me at the hospital. You would have been in the hospital if Buck had been in the hospital. If Buck had been in the hospital, you'd have had the flu.
Your brother would never have been in the hospital. He was strong.
Well, guess what? He's dead.
I know.
Okay, we're gonna go back.
Okay, so, there was a line that was dropped, because it's Mom, you never came to the hospital, how would you know about the hospital? And she says, I came to the hospital, but I had the flu and couldn't go in.
Wow.
Got it?
Yeah.
They good?
Yeah.
We good?
I thought, when he says he's being held up by the balls, that's where I,
Hung up by
That's
the balls, you said
before.
maybe they sit around and talk about the hospital.
that,
And then he says, Mom, you never came to the hospital, how would you know about the hospital? And then you say,
Oh my
I came to
God.
the hospital, but I got the flu and couldn't go in.
Yeah.
You know that, Conrad.
yeah, of course,
Okay,
Yeah.
here's the notes.
yeah.
You can't gingerly, aggressively grab him.
Okay,
If you grab him, you have to commit to it.
you're right, yeah.
You commit to it, you turn him around, you listen to me, young man, whatever the line is. I need to see a full commitment on that. You don't want to be held on to, you pull away, but
Okay.
it has to be real, okay?
Okay.
All right, great. On the lead up to the deadline, don't get too, because you become evil. And we don't want the kid being evil. We want to still like him. He's hurt, and we want to be on his side. Don't go evil.
Okay.
You got it? Okay, great. Now, that was the delivery on the deadline. Perfect. Don't change that.
Okay.
However, after he says the deadline, I want you to look, don't pull away from her so quick. I want you to see that you stuck the dagger in, and I want to see you watch her eyes, and then pull it and walk away, and you stay in that. And then you make him feel you, and then feel her, and then you realize what you did to her.
Okay.
Got it?
Got
Okay, here we go.
From the same spot.
Yeah, we didn't get anything.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Pictures up.
We're still rolling.
We're still rolling. We're still rolling? Who's paying for that? All right, here we go. Cameras are rolling.
Rolling.
Action.
Then don't. Go to Europe, why don't you? The only reason you care, the only reason you give a crap, is because someone else knew before you. I know why you never came to see me at the hospital. Because you went to Spain and Portugal. Why should you care if I was strung up with the balls in there?
I went to the hospital, but I had the flu. You know that, Conrad.
If Buck had been in the hospital, you would have been in that hospital. If Buck had been in the hospital, you would have had the flu.
Okay, go back to Sabrina's line right away. Look at him, the line you just said with more intensity. You got to match it. I got to match those two.
Okay.
Give it to me. Come out of the gate strong. Your line first. Cameras are rolling.
Rolling.
Sabrina's line. Here we go. Action.
I came to the hospital.
More.
I came to the hospital, but I had the flu and I couldn't go in. You know that, Conrad.
If Buck had been in the hospital, you wouldn't have had the flu. If Buck had been in the hospital, you would have been in that hospital.
Your brother would have never been in the hospital. He was strong.
Okay, did you forget the line?
No, I didn't. I just...
Nope. I don't know what that was, but let's get right to the line. Let's give it his
All right,
last
all right.
sentence.
You wouldn't have had the flu if Buck had been in the hospital.
You wouldn't have had the
Hang
flu.
on for action. Reset. And action.
You wouldn't have had the flu if Buck had been in the hospital. If Buck had been in that hospital, you would have been in that hospital.
Your brother would have never been in the hospital. He was strong.
Well, guess what? He's dead.
Go back. Be strong and hold and look at what you say. Give it a few seconds right in her face. Cameras are rolling. Get this. Give me that line, Sabrina. Action.
Your brother never would have been in the hospital. He was strong.
Well, guess what? He's dead.
I know.
I'm sorry. Please don't be mad.
I'm not mad.
I don't know what happened.
This Dr. Berger. Do you think he's helping?
Forget about Dr. Berger. It's not his fault.
And cut.
Cut.
All right. Give us a glove up there. You're done. All right. I didn't get exactly what I was wanting as a filmmaker. I can fix it in post, and now we'll talk about it. Okay? All right, pull up some chairs.
Just cheers, right?
Okay. However, I got a lot of really cool stuff.
Okay.
Okay? So, here are your notes. First off, I was really proud of the work that you did and how you guys came out of the gates. The whole beginning of this thing, I was loving it. I was loving you guys. You looked great. I was like, oh, I got a movie here. Oh, I got a movie here. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. You're doing a lot of really cool stuff. You got hung up in the most intense part. And if we had the budget and we had the time, I'd get in there and keep reshooting that until we got exactly what we needed. It was just, that's the pinnacle point of the scene and it's the pinnacle point of the movie. And I would just have to work on that so much more to just get it where I needed it to be, blocking in moments. But I'll get to that in a second. Young man, feel really good about when you came out with that, with the pigeon moment was awesome.
Yes.
It was great.
All right.
I was like, oh, you didn't only just give me what I wanted, you gave me more than I wanted, and that's, bam, that's what you want to do. Very, very nice, nicely laid in there. The whole relationship, you guys really worked out, and that's why we take a scene 3 times. You so many new dynamics come in, new levels. You were in the flow, and I'd not seen that with you two yet. You felt it. Felt pretty cool, didn't it? Yeah, you got on the ride. Now, where we had some of the critical notes is you were very ginger with him on the grabs, and that really has to be worked out. Now, you want to work those things out on your own, and then you do the best you can on your own, and if you get it, you get it. If not, what happens is the first will come over and say, okay, here's how I want this to do, and the first will work through you on that. If it's anything big, they'll actually bring a stunt guy in and they'll choreograph it and make it, but this wasn't that complicated. This is just pulling and grabbing, and it just should be really kind of organic. So he said, young, can I hold you all right? So he said, young man, and you gotta get a grip on it, and you pull away. Then if she pulls away, or he, whatever. You get the point. It's just, it has to be real.
Yeah.
You were kind of
And I
somewhat,
felt me doing that too.
and we
Yeah.
would have to clean those things up. So just know that, and that's why we have on the top of page 3 in the guidelines, pushing, shoving, kissing, hugging. That's the point of that box. The minute you sign off on that, you're agreeing, I will be in communication about these things, and if not, it's on me. Because they're not going to care when you show up on set, whether you read a box or you talked it out. You got to deliver the goods. So in here, this is preparing you for that. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Same thing, Sabrina, towards the end when he was walking and he went here and then he crossed back on the porch, you were kind of meandering. You weren't sure of yourself. That's where your work is now. You're going to get more sure by doing it. So look, it's learning, 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 showcase. Learning, 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 showcase. And that's what we do here. And you keep learning, and then you can go back and see your progress over time on how your showcases, meaning your scenes, get better and get better. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, so you'll see that and you'll clean up on that as well. Really nice adjustments on the compression line on the dead. I need you to watch to see what you were doing when you were to Portugal and the Spain and all that. I would have brought that down a little bit more too, only because it was
It's too
like
much.
hurting my vocal cords listening to you. It was like, wow,
Kind of did.
you were really getting in there.
Myself.
But that's learning the instrument. What I really like about it, Connor, is you went for it. And that was awesome. You went for it, you were blowing the carbon out on all cylinders. I believe you were showing us everything you had, and that was awesome because you have that ability to commit to that level, which is great. Now that we know where red line is, we don't need a ride at red line.
Okay.
Now play over in here, and then you had, see, here's the thing. If this is your range, and this is the meter, and your range is all the way over here, okay? Once you get here, now the only way you can work is back. If you go here, now you can work both ways.
Yeah.
And it allows you more control over your instrument. Make sense? Yeah. I thought it was really good work for the two of you. Was your first, both of your first ready to shoots?
Yeah.
That's my second.
That was your second? Okay, good. Good job. Give these guys a hand. Well done.